Now we've got the bonnet up, the first thing we're going to do is going to get the air filter off so we can get access to the distributor. Of course this won't be necessary on all cars. Pop that off. Let's just undo the distributor cap. Just push that to one side to reveal our points. Just pull off our motor arm. Get our distributor, and now we're just going to take out the points and condenser, carefully keeping the screws. There's one. There's two. There's three. We're just going to put the screws to one side quickly. Just disconnect our low tension lead. Now on this particular one, the connector won't go through the body of the distributor, so we're just going to have to cut the actual terminal, cut it off to remove all the gubbins. Just put that to one side. Well, I currently produce over 30 different kits, so when you receive your kit you'll receive something similar to this one here. Now I've already opened one up on the wing to show you the contents, and what you'll receive is an AccuSpark module, the AccuSpark trigger ring, some heatsink paste, and possibly some various connections and terminals. Now the first thing you do when you get your kit is you take your kit and you establish where in the distributor it fits. Now on this distributor it fits there. Now it can fit where the points were fitted, or it can fit where the condenser was, but you need to establish that before you go any further. Now in this particular case, like I say, it goes there. So what we do first is we take our sachet of heatsink paste, we just cut the corner, we squeeze out the contents onto the back. Now what this does, it helps transfer the heat from the module down to the base plate to prevent the module from overheating. We just place that there. Okay. We take one of the original screws that we used from our points just to secure it. It can be a little bit fiddly, so sometimes you just need a little bit of patience. Nice and firm. Now on some distributors you have an earth lead, which we took off when we took out the condenser, so we just need to put that back on. Next stage is we put on our black trigger ring. Now this simply just slides over, you push it all the way down, and we just make sure that we've got a nice gap between the module and the trigger ring. Now it's not critical, but it shouldn't be touching. Okay, now the next stage is we've got to feed our wires through the side of the distributor. Now on some cars it can be a little bit tricky, so I'm just going to use a screwdriver on this one to just help push them through. Just going to get a pair of pliers just to help it. That's it. Just pull my wires up. They should leave a little bit of slack if you've got advance and retard, so it doesn't trap. We can now put our rotor arm on. Find where it goes. Push it home. We put our cap back on. Now on this particular kit we're going to have to crimp on a couple of wires quickly. So we're going to do the black one first. Now the black one goes onto the wire that was already connected to the distributor. The red one can either go to the positive terminal of the coil or a new power source. Now this car in particular has got a very complicated ignition system on it. So what we're going to do, we're going to run it back to the ignition key. Now I've already prepared a wire which runs back to the ignition key here. So I'm just going to crimp a terminal on quickly. Like that. And put it on this fresh wire. Like I say, this one, all this does, it just runs back to the ignition key and becomes live with the key. And now basically we try and start the car. Now on this car it started up straight away. Now what we would do with the car running, we check the timing. On some cars you may just have to loosen off the pinch bolt. Now we've fitted our AccuSpark electronic ignition, we're going to check the timing with our AccuSpark P8000 professional quality timing lamp with advanced control. But before we use that, we're just going to have to loosen off the distributor so we can make the necessary adjustments. Now we're just going to loosen off the pinch bolt like that, just so we can just move the distributor with a little bit of resistance. So that's about right there. Now, first thing we need to do is we need to connect the two crocodile clips. There's a red one and a black one. Black one goes to negative on the battery, red one on the positive of the battery. Now if the battery is not accessible, you can connect the red one to the fuse box and the black one to earth. The next thing is we connect our inductive pickup. Now it's got a picture of a spark plug on it with an arrow. Now it's important that this is connected to number 1 HT lead with the arrow pointing towards the spark plug. And on this car it's this HT lead here. So we're just going to connect that up. A bit tricky there. Right. Now we come to our timing lamp. Now this timing lamp has an advanced control feature. The advantage of this is that often when you're looking at timing marks, it's very hard to work out which are the timing marks that you want to look at. So all we need to look at is the top dead centre mark. And in fact this car only has a top dead centre mark. So what we do is we adjust the timing control to the desired advance and retard, which in this case is 10 degrees. We're then going to point the lamp towards the only mark on this car, which is the top dead centre mark, and we're going to adjust the distributor until the white mark on the crankshaft pulley lines up with it, which we can't actually see at the moment. Now, before we do this, we'd also have to disconnect the vacuum advance and retard, but this car is running without one, so it's already gone. So I'm just going to start the car. Now you should be able to see that the mark is just before the top dead centre mark. So I'm just going to rotate the distributor slightly to bring it round. So that's about right there. Now be able to clearly see that. Now if we look at the dial on the back of the timing lamp, you can see that as I rotate it, say I rotate it to 30, the timing mark has now moved. And as I move it back again, the timing mark goes back to the top dead centre mark. Just a little bit out there. So we only need the top dead centre mark. We don't need to use any of the other teeth. So now that we've adjusted it, I can now turn it off and clamp up the distributor.